Hi, hello, welcome back. This is an impromptu filming. Usually I'd film this tomorrow. Today is Saturday. For English people, we get episodes of Drag Race Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, sharp. Apart from I thought there was it season 9 or 10? They started doing that for season 9. I remember one of the seasons, like, for some reason, like, some episodes just got delayed, like, hours, and you're like, I can't go on the internet, it's gonna be spoiled. But the reason I usually film it on Sundays is because I don't usually have, like, enough time to, like, sort of get all the material together that I need to watch and go through, because it's more than just watching the episode. You have to sort of see what other people are saying, see what the reaction to the episode is, see what the topics of discussion are, and also usually I don't get to see Untucked on the same day. Usually I have to wait till I can find that. But it all just sort of worked out for me today, and I've been able to see a few reviews. I think this episode sparked a lot of conversations. I've been able to sort of observe that. So I thought, what the heck? I'm not doing anything else. I'm procrastinating as it is. So I'll do this. This was the political episode that we get every 4 years. I would say every 4 seasons, however there's a good chance we won't get a regular Drag Race season next year, so the girls come in. Jan has gone home. They talk about how she was always, like, loving life, like, yeah, you guys! And then they sit down. A few words are exchanged, and it's all a continuation of the storylines presented in the last episode. Widow's like, I'm ready to fight now, I'm not going to be in the bottom again, blah, 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 blah. And then they congratulate Heidi because, you know, her dress was beautiful, her makeup was the best of the season, she won the challenge, she's on a roll. And then Gigi also talks about how she admits I was cocky, and then everyone is like, yeah. Like, sometimes when queens admit, like, okay, this is my fault, and, you know, this is where I went wrong, a lot of the time everyone goes, she's very, you know, she knows what's going on, you know, she's self-aware. But because her being cocky was so obvious, everyone was just like, do you want a pat on the back? Well, we've already been known this, sis, like, we know. And Heidi has the best confession of, Gigi good? Cocky? I don't think she gets to finish it. It's just, she just starts laughing. I love that none of Heidi's confessionals end without, like, a mistake or a laugh, or, like, you better keep that in. So yeah, that happens. We go to the opening titles. I feel like I'm more nostalgic when I watch those titles for earlier seasons for some reason. Whenever I watch them for newer episodes, like the last 5 seasons, I'm just like, But then when I'm watching it from, like, seasons 1 till 6, I'm like, oh my god, I love these titles. And then they all come back in. So, Alison, Miss Mossy, obviously we're not going to like her when everything that's going on. We're not going to, like, gravitate towards her. But she is very unnecessarily shady. Like, she put Widow down for no real reason, and not in, like, a fun, cute way. And I'm surprised they left that in. They obviously don't care if she comes off as the villain, right? But they're still going to try and minimise as much as possible her airtime. So I feel it's weird when they put these unnecessary bits of her, because we don't need to know more about Widow. Like, literally, I think her and Widow have had this, like, exact same conversation in one of the Untuckeds. So I don't really see the point of including Widow being shady, Sherry being shady. Like, we already know. And it was so weird the way they cut it off as well. I don't know. I think they don't want to completely remove Alison, because that's, like, impossible, because they're including her challenge and runways and critiques. So, like, you have to include a little bit of her in the workroom. So they're going, let's pick the clips that make her look the worst. And I'm like, that's fine. But why? Like, why? We don't need this. So the mini challenge, I missed that it was a sponsored mini challenge. I didn't even, like, twig, but I guess it was. It was like a kitty litter sponsor. Also, what happened to the video messages? They always do this in the newer seasons. They only do video messages for, like, the first half of the season, and not even all the episodes. And then they just, like, think that we all forget. Like, just, Jesus Christ, like, just think of something. They're not, most of them aren't even that funny. They're not meant to be funny. Okay? I missed the messages. So the mini challenge was really strong, actually. It was a really, really fun mini challenge. This was, like, a good sponsored mini challenge in that it didn't feel like, oh wow, this has nothing to do with anything. Having the queens, and also the challenge was sort of open. So all you had to do was dress up as a cat, and then improv on this cat set and do what you wanted. And they all did very different things. So Crystal did a parody of Grumpy Cat, and I liked when she just gently knocked over the vase. And then you had Jackie did Eartha Kitt, which was... That was funny. That was really good. And probably the best Eartha Kitt impression I've seen on the show. I thought this was really, really funny. And she was a Persian cat. How clever. Then we had... I don't know if we go in the right order. Heidi was probably the worst. But it was funny how she didn't know how to be a cat because she's a dog person. And her outfit was cute. Jada was a stripper cat, which is always funny. Widow was a cat. Widow was being a cat. And I mean, you got to give it up to her. She was doing it. She was doing the business. And then Gigi's was... I actually thought Gigi's was funny the way that... Because I think cats have this like reputation of being high maintenance, which they are. A lot of cats are high maintenance, whereas I think most dogs are. They don't give a shit. So having this cat who's using the milk as a face mask, and then I think it was the funniest singular joke, but she wasn't the best. But when she went, an unfinished garment, that was so funny. Like, that's why I like Gigi, because she can be really funny. I feel like I'm always putting down Aquaria. Aquaria's not my favourite drag queen, I'll be honest. And she got me blocked on Twitter. I mean, it's probably my fault. I probably said something nasty to her when that season came out. I've matured in 2 years, okay. But I never really got the Aquaria hype, because a lot of the things she said that were funny, I was like, I'm not laughing. So, whereas Gigi, I actually do find Gigi funny. And I think people who say that she's just a fashion queen, I think that's quite unfair. So yeah, Jackie wins. Deservedly so. Doesn't win anything. And also she wins a Fierce Drag Jules gift card, if I remember correctly. And I'm like, why all of a sudden are we not just giving out money for the mini challenges? This is like the first challenge where it hasn't been a pure money. It's been a gift card. And honestly... that's probably why they have so many bloody sponsors now, is because they're now doing this thing of just giving out money, rather than having companies sort of donate gift cards or items or whatever to give for prizes. So now that's why they have Bubbly sponsoring. Bubbly was sponsoring the pit stop. I don't know if they're sponsoring that anymore. And then Bubbly has sponsored a couple episodes. And then Frozen sponsored an episode. And we had... oh, what was the box one from last week? FabFitFun. And this... was it called Pretty Litter? I can't remember what it's called. I don't know. It's very inconsistent. And I don't like inconsistency. And then Ru's like a register to vote. I do love that they're really pushing the register to vote thing. I do appreciate that. And then Ru has a whole spiel about, this election year, blah, blah, blah. We're going to be comic relief. Here is my issue. I love when they have challenges they do multiple times, or they have categories of challenges they do multiple times. However, I liked that for Series 8, they did switch up the political challenge. It was not a political debate, it was political smear campaigns. And you were working in pairs, and it was a very different vibe. And it wasn't improv, it was, you got to script it yourself, you got to do whatever you wanted. So having this this is the exact same as the debate challenge, apart from the fact that it is not timed, where there are those timed responses. Also, that guy who hosted the season 4 one was so fucking boring, and they were taking it very seriously. Whereas this one, they were like, no, be funny, and they had 2 excellent moderators who are really funny. And it's hard to believe that a lot of that wasn't scripted, and they were just working off the cuff. Those two should have a show together, Jeff and Rachel. I don't know if they've ever worked together before, but they should. But yeah, the challenge, it kind of does bug me that they didn't even say, like, oh, we're redoing the season 4 Frock the Vote challenge. And I think maybe they thought calling it Choices and not having a Tatiana cameo. Bit odd when you literally had a Vivacious cameo and she hadn't even got anything to do with the episode. Yeah, I think they thought calling it Choices would, like, make it a different challenge. No, it's the same. Just there were more people, so there was less time for each person. And I liked that in this one, though, they were actually able to interact with their, like, fellow candidates. I feel like... I don't like the season. Here's the thing, I don't even like the season 4 of the Vote Challenge. I find it so unbelievably boring. But I found it weird how there wasn't even any acknowledgement that this was the same challenge. So, Rue comes back in. I find it weird sometimes how they, like, Rue leaves, like, after giving them the challenge, then immediately comes back in to do the walkthrough. I'm like, oh, okay. With Raven, who's a fabulous... love Raven. I liked her outfit, and she was so funny. They should bring her in more. They should bring her in more. She's so funny. I hope they do. And I am kind of happy that, although I still think it's weird that they've never had a winner or anyone judge an episode, I'm glad that it's become a thing now. Like, they have drag queens coming in to help mentor, I guess, in a way, the contestants on the certain challenges. It's like a thing now. They always have it at least once a season. So they do the walkthrough. They do everyone. I think this is the first time they've done everyone, obviously apart from the obvious elephant in the room. So let me think about what they said to each other. So Gigi is like, I'm not political. Gigi's like, I'm not political, it scares me, which I can understand. And that's what Akili made some points. Akili made some points. Gigi, of this entire cast, is easily the most privileged. Now, that is not to say that because Gigi doesn't know about politics and is a privileged person, Gigi is a bad person. However, I think I was expecting her to at least acknowledge... Because if I was in her position, I'd have been like, I'm scared of politics, and because I grew up very privileged, sadly, I never needed to know about politics because I never really needed to defend my own existence to other people. You know, I'm very lucky to have been born this way. And maybe even... She didn't really feel ashamed about it. It sounds weird. I feel like... I'm not saying she should be ashamed, but I think Gigi was more worried about doing well in the challenge, whereas Gigi didn't really recognise and go, hang on, I'm not political. I don't really think about the politics, and maybe I should change that. I think she did toward the end of the episode, in Untucked. But yeah, I feel that's surprising, and I hope maybe... She doesn't really seem to respond to anything on Instagram and social. She doesn't really rebut anything that comes up in the episodes, so I'm not sure if she'll speak on it, but if I was her, I'd make a little statement about it. They talk to Widow, and Widow's like, I'm gonna do this, and says what he's got planned, and Rue's like, that's not funny. And then Raven's like, be silly. Raven just says to everyone, be silly, and then Raven is also fucking hilarious, and is like, you're trying to be America's Next Drag Superstar. I wouldn't know what that's like. It was so good, and she had Rue laughing so hard, multiple times. And I now recognise probably why Rue likes having Raven around, because it seems that Raven just cracks RuPaul up. Raven put a picture on Instagram of her and RuPaul standing together, I think, on the judges panel when their outfits from the episode, and it was so weird to see RuPaul doing that. That's not like a RuPaul thing. Anyway, they talk to Jackie, and Jackie is not Jackie Coxy. Jackie Cocky. She's not Jackie Cocky, but she seems to have an air of like, I've got this. And I think Aki again had made a brilliant point of, in Drag Race, if it's your challenge to win, that means it's your challenge to lose. Because in Drag Race, all these expectations have been put on you. And narratively, you're going to expect the person who's expected to win to fail, because we love a good switcheroo. But also, when I'm going into this challenge, and I also saw a glimpse of her runway, because when you've only got 7 queens and you preview 3 or 4 of the outfits in the week before, you're like, well, I've already got half the runway done. So I knew she wore the hijab, and I knew what challenges was, and I'm like, okay, Jackie is going to have a storyline this episode, whether she does well or not. So I was prepared for that. Crystal has a Snatch Game moment, and doesn't really know what they're doing, and is very worried, and is like, I'm not sure what I'm doing, or who Crystal is. And that's what concerned me, the fact that when Rue was like, who's Crystal, and Crystal was like, and that's just, I feel like immediately, I didn't think she was going to win anyway. I mean, we're at top 6, and she hasn't won a challenge yet. But she also hasn't lip synced. I still don't think Crystal has much of a chance of winning. But saying, like, you don't know who you are as a drag queen, that just automatically, I feel like, just cuts your chances in half. Like, you're probably not going to win now, because Rue doesn't think you know who you are yet. But Crystal's got time, and I think also Crystal's just flustered. Crystal is just adorable. They talk to Heidi, and then Heidi once again steals Rue's thing. And then, it was so funny though, because Rue's like, you did it again. And I feel like Rue is kind of making a point of, you keep missing the obvious jokes. Just do what your gut goes with. And that happened in the last challenge, when the director guy with the weird shoes was like, be you, do what you want, be in the moment, be you. She then aced it. She was doing amazing, and she went on to win the challenge. So that seems to be Heidi's storyline, is do you, okay, and you will go far. Because Rue loves you. I do think Rue loves Heidi. I think we're lucky, because Rue, I think, genuinely loves Heidi and Crystal. That's one of the reasons I think that Jan wasn't ever favoured by the judges. The producers and Rue are not always great at predicting who's going to be fan favourites, and I feel like Rue really attached himself to Heidi and Crystal, so completely blanked Jan out and didn't think that Jan would be a fan favourite. Because yeah, she just fucking loves Heidi and Crystal. And then who else did they talk to? They talked to Jada, and I don't remember much apart from she was very pageanty, and I don't know if it's, she seemed to be putting on a bit, like as a joke, like she was going like, I'm going to talk very normally. And is this the first time we've seen Jada in a walkthrough? I feel like it is, because she's just very composed. You know, she doesn't, you know, oh god, my neck is really cracking. She doesn't miss a beat. And then, so they do film, I was really confused. So after this, they then go the next day, and I was like, And it's because they did film the challenge the previous day, I think. I think so, because Rachel and Jeff were wearing different outfits. However, I think the smart thing is they decided to show that between introducing the judges and the runway, which kind of makes more sense. I understand why they would show the improv challenges where there's no rehearsals, it's just one take. I understand why they show them when they're, like, in the order of when they're actually filmed, but it just makes so much more sense to do them just for the runway, because then it feels like it's fresh in the mind, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I was very confused. They come in the next day and they're doing the makeup, and obviously they have to talk a lot about things. So what I remember is, I'm sure, oh yeah, she did. Jackie talked about how the travel ban in America has really hurt her and her mum's life, especially her mum, and how her sister, or Jackie's auntie, now can't go see his mum, who is ill, I think. And it seems quite seriously ill. It's not just like, oh, she's feeling a bit sick. And obviously the travel ban, even if the left, you know, the Democrats win this coming election, which I will be totally honest, I can't see happening. Like, I don't want to jinx it, but I also want to be honest, I can't see them happening. Even if they did that, the travel ban would take, it's not going to literally immediately out the door, it's going to be lifted. Especially when you have someone like fucking Biden, who's not exactly great himself. So it could be a long time until they see her again, and it's very heartbreaking. I feel like England is going through what America went through, which is, all of a sudden, all these conservative white people are speaking up about how much they hate anyone who isn't white or has an accent. Because it's so weird. It's like all the bigots just started to use their voices. And now there's a big push for, like, when we left the EU, it was like, oh, now you have to go back to your country. Like, people would go on the streets and go up to black people. You'd see videos of it, and they weren't faked as much as people like to say they are. Like, you go up to black people wearing hijabs, anyone whose skin wasn't white, and now, you know, they'd be like, and they'd be like, you know, you going back to your country, it's all over for you now. It's going to be proper again. And now with the whole coronavirus in the Western world in general, especially America, and it has been happening in England and the rest of the UK. Now we're avoiding Asian people and assuming every Asian person is Chinese, and it's one of the reasons I don't really want to live in England when I grow up, especially if it's still the country that it is today, because I don't want to have to live in a country where I'm like, oh yeah, lots of people the same race as me in this country love to tell black people, they should go back to their country and call them the N-word. It's shameful, and I think a lot of white people in America who are, especially left people, are like kind of ashamed, because it's like, great to be the same race as you. That's a bit of a tangent, I don't want to get too heavy, but I feel like the UK is like sort of following the US, which is one of the reasons I kind of also am really invested in US politics, because I'm kind of hoping maybe if the US gets their shit together, maybe the UK will follow suit. Oh god, we have to get so heavy. We're not even to nearly the heaviest stuff yet. Oh, because then Crystal. So Crystal, I think, is Mexican. That's what I've seen a lot of people saying. If Crystal is not Mexican, I'm very sorry that misinformation is being spread. And if I can find out Crystal's race and nationality, she's American. If I can find out Crystal's heritage, then I will put it up here. But she's like, oh yeah, my parents voted for Trump, and I don't even know. I don't know who my parents. That's one of the reasons, though. Is there's also like another thing. I don't know I don't even know if my parents vote. Did they? I don't ask, because I thought it's just a bit weird for like ask your parents, who did you vote for? And also it's kind of like you're scared of what the answer's gonna be. Like, you're scared and you're not scared, because I'm like certain I kind of know, and I'm pretty safe with who I think they would have voted for. But I'm also just like, but you never know. They could just go out, yeah, I voted for Boris Johnson. You'd be like, what, really? And then knowing, like, I know I have friends who voted Tory in the last election, and it's very hard. It's very hard looking them in the eyes, because I'm like, oh, great. So now every time we walk past a homeless person together, I'm just thinking, oh well, you helped contribute to that person not being able to get a home. So thanks for that. It's just difficult, and I can't imagine having to live in the same house as someone who has such a differing opinion. So yeah, that was and then Widow talks about how where they live, it's like, oh yeah, I'm scared of going to the wrong parts of town in case I get killed because I'm black. And it was Jimmy Pink who brought up there's these people protesting, these idiots who have no brains and are very selfish, and a lot of them seem to be white supremacists based on some of the things they say, and they're like carrying around the Confederate flag, and it's like, what's this got to do with anything apart from what? And then that's when you sort of go, how can people on the right not admit that there is something else going on beyond just wanting to be allowed outside when you're carrying a Confederate flag around and dressing up as, fucking American colonists? It's like, oh great, let's remember that part of your heritage, part of your history. That's got everything to do with coronavirus. It's just crazy. It's just unbelievable. And this came at a pretty not ironic, but a topical time, because not only have we got that election coming up, but like I said, this COVID-19 situation is just bringing out the racist in everyone. And the homophobia. I feel like it's because people are like, I have to stay indoors today. You can't touch me. I can't go outside, so you can't get me. And maybe in like 3 months when we're allowed to back outside, you'll forget it. Because I feel like those TikTokers are getting awfully brave at the moment. Those racist TikToks are it's become a whole genre. So finally we get to Rue walks onto the runway in a nice dress. Shame it wasn't themed, because for the first time in God knows how long, the challenge, runway, and lip sync song all fit, so it would have been nice if Rue had a matching dress. Michelle wasn't there. I didn't even really think about it. I think this is the first time ever since Michelle joined the show that she's not been able to judge an episode, so I don't know what was going on there. But it was obviously planned, so it wasn't like she was ill or anything. It was just she had like another engagement. Also, I feel like they seem to really be uneven with the Ross and Carson episodes. Like, it used to be simple. You alternate, and then you have some episodes where there's both of them. And now I feel like there's so many more Carson episodes than Ross episodes, and they're not alternating a regular schedule. And I don't really know what's going on with that. Maybe Ross is more busy. I mean, it would make sense. I think Ross is definitely more busy than Carson. But I don't know. It's kind of weird for once seeing the judges sort of almost half. They're starting to begin to like outgrow the show. Like, they're like, I've got other things to do, RuPaul. So we had the guest judges Rachel Bloom and Jeff Goldblum. They never actually mentioned, I don't think, but the reason they're both judges on the same episode is because they have Bloom in their last name. As I said, great pairing, love them, hilarious. Rachel Bloom recently did that Trolls World Tour crossover thing with Monet, Manila, and Nina. So that was a bit of a coincidence, I guess. I should get Anna Kendrick on RuPaul's Drag Race. I think she'd be very good. Or Blake Lively. They should have done a Simple Favour crossover. Damn. This would be very interesting later. I'm not familiar with Rachel Bloom, but I think she's fucking hilarious, and I think she should be a permanent guest judge. As much as I love Leslie Jones, she'd be an amazing guest judge. Like, Rachel Bloom is one of the best guest judges they've ever had. And Jeff Goldblum was amusing because of how interested he was and everything. Now, I'm going to say this. Jeff Goldblum, I do love. But I have to preface that because we're going to get into things later. Also, there was like this period where something was going on around Jeff Goldblum. Something was being said. I can't even remember. All I noticed, it was like problematic. But it was one of those things where like it circulated for like a couple days on Twitter, and then I never saw it again, to the point where I can't even remember what it was about. But I know it was anti-Jeff Goldblum. But the problem is nowadays, it's hard to like verify information because people love to cancel. And as much as I find cancel, I've been cancelled, blah, 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 poor me. I hate that sort of attitude. Cancel culture is a bit of a thing. And there are people who go out of their way to villainize people who everyone loves because they've got nothing better to do with their lives. So I don't know. So I'm going to hold off on the Jeff Goldblum situation because I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's really weird having I wish I'd like more room, but this is the best you're going to get. So, the challenge. This was a really hard one to judge. I still didn't love this challenge. It was better than season 4. But it was just so hard to judge. Like, when the runway started, I was like, apart from Jada winning, like, where does everyone else fall? So, again, I cannot remember who it was, like, left to right. Also, we had, Crystal. I know we had Crystal. Random name, I shouted out. So Crystal didn't do puns, really, apart from when she went, party at the front, business at the back, or was it party at the front, party at the back, business at the front, party at the back? It was something. It was a mullet joke, because Rue loves her mullet. She has to be careful, because that's the second episode she's hinged her entire, well, she hasn't hinged her entire challenge, because the mullet thing was like a one-time joke in this challenge. But she can't do it too much, because I'll get to Heidi as well, about being a one-trick pony. But she loved the sort of glitter thing. I think Crystal did a good job. Not because she was particularly funny. Like, I didn't laugh out loud at most things she said. But she had a thing. She was draggy. She liked glitter. She felt in character. She was high energy. And it was just like an all-round, it was like, oh, you did good. I enjoyed that. Especially as I didn't know if you were going to do very well. And I was thinking, at the beginning of the episode, I was like, oh no, it's downfall of Crystal. I was like, oh, did a good job. Now, I guess I'll get straight to Heidi, because I mentioned her. I didn't think Heidi did that well. In retrospect, she definitely would say in the top 3, but only because I think this was a hard challenge to judge. I feel like she didn't say a lot. I don't know if she didn't get asked a lot of questions, or her answers are very short, but I feel like she had the least time of anyone. And she didn't really have a whole lot of jokes, but she had a character. She had a Southern Belle. And what got it was her reactions, I think. I think her reactions were the funniest part of her performance. And I felt like she was the only one who was really doing like, oh, oh my goodness, I can't believe you just said that. That was what she did. And it was pretty good. I was worried at first, but then I think the thing with her, she didn't flop, she just didn't excel. Which in this challenge, it's very difficult to not flop or excel. I mean, it's improv, so automatically it's like you're either good or bad. So yeah, in a challenge like this, not excelling, but also not flopping is still pretty good. Widow Von Du. So I actually was like, I was like, oh, Widow's doing okay. However, she faltered. I got what she was going for. I don't get why everyone was like, you're angry politician. I'm like, yeah, that's her character. Why can't that be her character? There are angry politicians. But as it got on, she didn't really have as many jokes, and they weren't as funny. And when she had a jab at Jeff Goldblum, everyone was like, and I thought it was jokey, but then everyone was like, girl, what are you doing? And I was like, wait, what's happened? What's she done wrong? Is this not a funny joke? Okay, I guess this isn't funny. Alright, I'll do what you tell me to believe. So yeah, it didn't... Like, she still wasn't great. I still didn't really enjoy her performance. It was a bit, sort of, forgettable. That was it. Her performance was forgettable, and she did falter in certain places, and her character was one note. Because the judging was so difficult, I feel like the producers had a sort of easy episode, because honestly, like, pretty much any way you spin it, like, I'd probably go, I mean, I guess they were the bottom two. You know, apart from Jada winning, honestly, anyone else, if you said Heidi was the bottom, I'd have gone, I can see it, I guess. If you said Crystal was the bottom, I'd go, I can kind of see why. Like, they were really lucky with this episode. They really could do whatever they wanted. So next we had Jackie. So Jackie's, I didn't find super funny. Like, I got what her shtick was, but I think the problem was she was being told to her face multiple times, stop making the Canada jokes. And that's all she had. All she had in the bank was Canada jokes. That same as Willow. It was one trick pony. That's all she had. It was her only character. A lot of one trick ponies this episode, because Heidi and Crystal were okay because their one trick was still funny, whereas Heidi's sort of ran out of steam, and Jackie's I didn't really find funny to begin with. Honestly, I don't think this was a good episode for Jackie. And it was so weird because again, this was her challenge to win, so I guess it was her challenge. It was her challenge to lose. Then we have Gigi. So as soon as she put the robot thing on and was like, I'm not a robot, I was like, oh no. It's another one-trick horse, a donkey, a mule, an ass. I just want 2 tricks, and we'll get to Jada, because she had some tricks. But I was just like, Gigi, why are you being a robot again? Like, that's all she has, is robot. And she started out alright when she was at a thing, it was like, I'm a human girl. I thought that was good. Her tagline, the whatever, accessorization, whatever, I thought that was actually a good tagline. Like a good opening statement. And I thought the Sissy That Walk thing wasn't that unfunny. I think she should have just done like a funny Sissy That Walk. She shouldn't have done it normally. She should have found a funny way to do it. And I think when she had just let robot take humans' jobs, I think she should have had more of like, whenever we responded, she should have been like, I mean never. I would never want robots to take human jobs, ever. That's, I don't know, I didn't say anything. Did you hear that? Someone, oh my god, who was that? You know, she should have like done something with it. Because she just didn't say anything after that, apart from give like a, oh, that's the wrong look. And then she repeated the exact same thing she said at the beginning at the end. And I like how Jeff was just like, you've already said that. But I don't think she did the worst. Well, she wasn't great. She definitely was bottom 3. I thought the bottom 3 was right for this challenge. But then we get to Jada. So I will say Jada's confusion bit lost me a little. Like, I didn't find that super funny. I say that, I always find the phrase, I didn't find that super funny, I say that's something I love to say. But it's true, I didn't find it super funny. It was like, I got what she was going for. What cracked me up was, look over there. That was so genius to, rather than do actual verbal distraction that politicians do, to parody it and literally point at somewhere and go, look over there. And the fact that Jeff was playing into it. Like, I feel like Jeff and Rachel did try to give the queens as much help as they could by playing into what they were doing. But the fact that Jeff was like, oh, you keep getting me. And then Rachel did it. Look over there. And then not Rachel, was it? Jada had the sort of flirtation thing with Jeff. And, like, Jada had a few different levels to her performance. And I liked that she did the whole time it said this very much like, I don't care face. You know? You can't touch me. Someone said something, and then someone said, can I rebuttal? Someone said, can I retittle her rebuttal? And then Jada said, can I retittle? No, I can't even do it. Can I retattle her retittle to her rebuttal? And I was like, that was smart, because butt and tit, I can kind of get how you got there, but the tit and tat, I was like, okay, we got a smart cookie over here. And then like that was when I was like, okay, Jada's gonna win. And also her runway look is probably going to be flawless. So like, her runway look that she made herself. Oh, great, you're so skilled, good for you. So then we have the runway, Stars and Stripes. So, I'm kind of interested that for the first time ever, they kind of, the promo look was a theme they'd already done in this season. Like, the promo look wasn't Stars and Stripes, it was red, white, and blue, and then a lot of people incorporated Stars and Stripes. Not all of them did, but a lot of them did, because it's red, white, and blue themed. It's an election year. And I guess it's, honestly, I wonder what they'll do for the next election year, assuming this Drag Race is still going. Because they've now done the season is going to be, United States of America, the RuS of A, all that stuff. So I don't know I don't know. It was a bit weird. Now I think about it, I feel like having a season themed around patriotism and red, white, and blue is kind of a bad theme. Anyway, that's so hypocritical. I remember in the season review, I was like, why have they never done red, white, and blue before? And now I'm like, they shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry, okay? I'm a human. I'm a real human girl. So, Stars and Stripes. I usually do it in alphabetical order, but I've forgotten where they come in the alphabetical order. I haven't forgotten the alphabet, though. I'll try. So, I actually liked Crystal's look. I feel like the only person in the universe who did. Yes, it was very mix and matchy. It was a bit of a hodgepodge Vinegar Strokes moment. But it all went together, I thought. I thought the hat and the jacket went together. I thought all the pieces looked nice together. I liked the wig. I liked everything. It was a bit simple, but I was like, okay, you go, girl. Then we had Gigi Good. Now, I love Gigi, for the most part, okay? She's probably not my favourite to win anymore. She's not my favourite of the season. I think her throne has been usurped. But I still like her. She's still a good queen, and I think she's a very enjoyable person. However, you cannot keep wearing bodysuits and tailored coats. You can't do it. It doesn't... And this is so similar to her entrance look. So similar. You have to stop. Someone has to stop you. And then Jimmy Pink pointed out the best flaw is that the outfit she was wearing was the bloody British people wore, not the Americans. That doesn't even make any lick of damn sense. And then, to top it off, there's no Stars or Stripes. There's no Stars or Stripes. And I thought maybe they were just given a patriotic runway theme. Blah, 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 blah. And of course everyone went Stars and Stripes. And they changed... Because they do that. They sometimes change the runway theme, title, in the episode compared to what the queens were told to bring. But then how on earth does Widow's outfit make any sense? Because hers wasn't red, white, and blue. So the outfit category must have been Stars and Stripes. And the only other persons I've seen on Instagram is Nikki Dolls. And I think hers did have Stars and Stripes on it. I think it had stars, at least. So, I don't know how she got away with it. I feel like the favoritism of Gigi is becoming more and more blatant and more annoying. Even more so than, the favoritism of Eureka. Because how did you not read her for not fitting the runway theme? How? I mean, the outfit was nice. It was a nice outfit. If I saw that in a club and she was lip-syncing to... I don't know, I'm Your Man by Wham. I don't know. I don't know, okay? I don't know. I'd like it, probably, but not for this runway. And I'm not sure what storyline they're going with Gigi, because I just don't know. She's doing an Aquaria. Well, not even an Aquaria. Aquaria, was safe for the first few episodes, then won a challenge, and then was just kind of rocky for the rest of the season, and was up and down, up and down. Gigi was always perfect. She was going on a Brooklyn Heights trajectory, and it's just slowly plummeting. I'm assuming she'll probably win the makeover challenge, or she'll at least do well in the makeover challenge. It kind of seems like her thing. Jackie Cox. Now, I really like this. I love the message. I actually also like the outfit. A lot of people said they didn't like the outfit, the kaftan. But I liked the kaftan, I liked the hijab, I liked the hair, I think the whole look went together. It was a good look in my eyes. It was simple, but effective. Then we had Jada Essence Hall, who had a fabulous outfit, probably the best on the runway. And it was just good. It was just damn good. The shoulder pieces, the hair, I love the red, white, and blue streak in it. front. She made it. The matching shoes. Like, ugh, sometimes flawlessness just gets boring, you know? You're too perfect. I forgot to include Heidi, because I think her outfit was quite forgettable. Wasn't a bad outfit. I think her makeup is the best we've seen all season now. She's really getting there with her makeup. And her outfit was, like, good. But it was quite simplistic. I feel like this is an outfit that I think if certain other queens from the show's history wore, they'd get red for it being a bit too simple. Like when she did the Pinocchio look, I was like, you would have read someone else for that. It was nice. It's just I don't know. I felt they really raved about it. I was like, okay, it's good, but it's not that good. But I liked the hair. The hair was great. Probably one of the best wigs, if not the best wig she's worn all season. And then we had Widow. So wearing black and white for Stars and Stripes runway is genius because you stand out. You're wearing black and white. I liked the dress. The stars were a bit crafty, but I still liked it. I liked where they were placed. And I liked the afro with it. I think that was a good choice. And it just kills me that she's now for this show worn like 3 like patriotic looks. She wore her promo look, which was red, white, and blue. And then she had her Michelle Visage look, which was the American flag. And then, well, obviously not the direct American flag, but it was a patriotic outfit. And then she's done Stars and Stripes, black and white. Why did she pick Michelle? Like, she must have known, like, on the runway, that one of the themes is Stars and Stripes, so why would I then pack another another American flag patriotic outfit for a challenge where I could go for, like, anything else? Michelle Visage had a long career, you can wear what you want. So, yeah, I wonder what went through her mind. But yeah, it was a nice dress. And it's also just kind of a shame that 2 weeks in a row she wore, like, a black dress, which had a similar silhouette. That's just how it falls sometimes, so I'm not really going to judge her for that. Then we had the critiques. Oh, Michelle did turn up via satellite, which was kind of funny. That damn broccoli. Get her out of my face. I'm sick of the broccoli. I'm sick of it. Done. The critiques were honestly quite fair overall. I guess I'll try and go through them and see what I can remember. Crystal, I feel like on the runway, they kind of gave her performance... They didn't talk about her performance very long at all, and I felt like it was a bit more of like a negative critique. But then in the deliberation, they spoke about her performance positively. Maybe I misunderstood the critique on the runway. But either way, they liked it, but then they didn't really get her outfit, but they kind of liked elements of it. Like, she was definitely high. And I'm actually really surprised by the redemption of Crystal. I didn't think they would ever go for this storyline. I thought maybe they'll go for a redemption of Heidi or maybe a redemption of Crystal, but I think it's kind of refreshing to see that they've gone, here are 2 underdogs and they're both exceeding expectations in the back end of the competition. It's like, oh, that's nice. And obviously that's not the producer's thing. It's like, this is how other queens do, but producers can edit and easily just cut people down like flowers that mean nothing. Cut them at the stalk, you know. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Then we had, Gigi Good. So her critiques, but they loved her outfit, didn't even talk about how bad it was. Not bad but how it didn't fit the runway category. And then they talked about her performance quite negatively. It was quite negative. But again, in deliberation, they were a bit more like, it was good but not great. And I was like, well, on the runway, you didn't seem to like it that much at all. And like I thought her performance was fine. It was a decent performance. There were gems in it. I think it was better than what Widow and Jackie did. Maybe Widow and Gigi were kind of on the same height, actually, but it was better than Jackie. Jackie had the worst performance in the challenge. But yeah, that was kind of her critiques. I thought they were a bit more harsh. On everyone apart from Jada and Heidi, they were quite harsh. Speaking of Heidi, they gave her nothing but praise about her outfit and her performance. Then we have Jackie Cox. This was a long part of the episode, and I'm not mad at that. I think they talked about her challenge and how it wasn't great, and then we got to have another moment on the runway where Jackie burst into tears and said about how she had thought about not wearing the outfit and how she knew, like, how risky it was to wear something like this, but she wanted to be like, I am proud of, you know, my Middle Eastern heritage. I am proud of being queer. I can do all these things. I'm gonna be an advocate for everyone out there who is, you know, Muslim and queer, and be like, you can still be both. You don't have to pick. You can do both. And Jackie is not religious. Jackie is not a religious person. But I still think the statement was there, if you know what I mean. Especially as Middle Eastern drag queen representation on RuPaul's Drag Race US isn't huge. Is she the? I don't know if she's the. Is she the first on the show? I don't know if they've ever mentioned her being the first, but she's not like a common thing on the show. She's not a common character. So I think it was very important. I think it helps. The outfit was beautiful. And then Jeff Goldblum said, "But isn't that religion anti-gay and anti-woman?" And I was like, oh. Now, anti-gay, I'll give you that. Okay, kind of. But also, it's still a bit icky to bring it up in that particular moment. I think he could have worded it better. He could have been like, is, you know... what would I say? He could have worded it better about how do you feel about, you know, or just ask. So let's say, so how are queer people sort of look towards by sort of traditional teachings of Islam, you know, like what do they say about it, or say how to, you know, what stories have you got? Just say something that isn't that religion anti-gay and anti-woman. Like, it just seemed a bit harsh, and I don't think he was trying to. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, shadow of a doubt, benefit of the doubt, and I don't think he meant to come off like that, because he was like, maybe I'm just being stupid. So I think it was the anti-woman that was more like, oh, because I don't really. The thing is, I'm not even going to say anything about like if what he said was hurtful. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt because I don't think he meant to hurt anyone, because I think Jeff Goldblum was a precious person. But like, it's not my job or my place to say whether it was offensive or not, or whether no, he should get back in line. It's like, well, I'm not Muslim. I'm not even Middle Eastern. I'm not a person of colour. I'm not, you know, I'm not a racial minority. I'm not anything. I'm not anything to do with the subject. I'm not even religious. Like, I've got nothing to do with the topic, so I haven't got any place. In my opinion, I haven't got, well, no, I think that's just like common sense. I haven't got a place to talk about it. I can talk about it generally, but I shouldn't even have anything close to a finishing or a final say on anything. So I'm just going to leave that there. But and Muslims being anti-woman is such a touchy subject, and I think it is pushed by a lot of people who don't understand the religion, and just love to go, oh, they have to wear something around their heads all the time when they're outdoors, therefore it's anti-woman because misogyny. Which I don't know. Maybe that is the case. I'm not a Muslim. I don't know, but I also I've had friends who are Muslim and they wear hijabs or wear headscarves or wear anything, and they've never seemed to find it as a, you know, something of oppression, of being told what they can and can't do. It's just something they believe they should do and they want to do. Unless someone I know now who has the most fabulous headscarves, and I mean the most fabulous headscarves, like you wouldn't believe. So I don't know. I think to generalize a religion as that's anti-woman, and I think especially in these kind of times, it seemed a bit sensitive. Also, every religion, most religions, if you look at someone who's talking about it, if you look at the head honchos of religions in the modern day, of course, most of them are anti-woman or anti-queer or anti-gay. Because most religions, anything in their history that could have been supportive of minorities, they're fucking wiped out clean. So, you know, I don't know if that's something to really target Muslims about. I mean, fucking all the people that do mass shootings tend to be white Christians, or at least white people. So, you know, don't really know if we should be talking about these kind of things on the show. Editors, why did they not edit that out? They were doing Jeff Goldblum dirty. I don't know how any of them thought. Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't have brought it to light, but I feel like the editors either are tone deaf or kind of secretly like, let's send some hate towards Jeff Goldblum. Come on, let's do it. And then we had Jada got praised. Jada, they love Jada. Everyone loves Jada. I love Jada. I feel like I've just decided I love Jada. She's had a few rough moments, but we love her. We stand. And then we get into Widow's critiques, and Widow has basically the same thing of like, I don't really know what's stopping me, and she was defeated. She was like, I spent all the time, I didn't sleep. I went into the runway thinking I was doing great, and now it turns out I didn't sleep for nothing because you didn't like it. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and you didn't think I was funny. So what's the point of me trying? And I totally get that. It's like when Heidi was in the bottom last time, she was like, I'm just not what they want, and I can't change that. And then Rue was trying to sort of ruin Rachel, both trying to like get into her head and be like, no, you're a star, you need to believe in yourself. But when you're in that headspace, you're not going to listen. Like, a bit like Heidi done Untucked. Heidi wasn't listening to anyone. Everyone around her was going how amazing she is, and she was going, but they don't want me to win, so what's the point? And I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't see this coming for Widow. When she won the first challenge and when she was kind of coasting, I was like, she'll probably make it far. I didn't really think that she basically had a downward trajectory from the first episode. I didn't see that in the cards for her. But I guess that's what happened. I thought her critiques were very uncomfortable. Then they deliberate, and then they come back. Jada wins. Duh. I kind of, at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, it's between Jada and Gigi. Like, I kind of was like, oh, Gigi's gonna win. They always love Gigi. But I do think Jada has a chance. And based on what we saw in the first two lip syncs, although I think Gigi's saving all her tricks for the lip sync for the crown, if that happens, if there is a lip sync for the crown, I predict Jada's probably at least a little bit better than Gigi's at lip syncing, so she could still win. I'm basically Team Jada, Team Gigi, and Team Crystal and Heidi aren't going to win. I mean, Heidi's lip synced twice, so she's not going to win, and Crystal might only have one challenge left to win, so, I mean, Evie won with only one challenge win. I guess Crystal could win, but like I'm pretty sure Heidi's not going to. So then the bottom two is Jackie and Widow. Honestly, I get why people are upset. I do think Gigi could have been the bottom. I think Gigi could have been in Widow's spot. I think that's basically it. I think Gigi could have been in Widow's spot. I think Jackie was the worst. As much as I loved her outfit and her statement, and her story is very emotional, she was the worst in the challenge, and I don't think being the worst in the challenge, just because you have a great runway look, I don't think that's enough. That's like enough. That's not fair. That's not fair to save you. It's like, as much as I love Brooklyn Heights, it wouldn't have been fair for her to not be in the bottom two for the Snatch Game. As good as her outfit and her reveal was, she was the bottom two of the main challenge. So, by a mile. They lip synced to Firework, and I'm doing that 30-day music challenge, and I put Hot and Cold by Katy Perry, and I wish I had done Firework, because then I could have been like, I'm clairvoyant. And at first I was like, oh, maybe we're just going to send Jackie home. Widow could be the lip sync assassin of the season. Which at the moment, I guess, is Heidi. She's like the only person that's like lip synced. I mean, Britain... Not really. I guess Heidi's the only person who could take that role at the moment. And then Jackie was doing her comedy, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. She's doing comedy. But then in the second half, she got really emotional, and you could really feel the emotion. And Widow did I think Widow's perhaps only weakness is she did a very similar performance to her last lip sync. But like they both did a good job. Jeff Goldblum was crying. I was like, oh my god, bless him. Like, he doesn't seem like a drag fan, but he's very intrigued by it, and he's obviously okay with it. And I think it seems like this is something very new for him to sort of experience this kind of performance, and it was heartbreaking to see him cry so much. And I think it was just because he kind of saw how much they wanted it, and I think especially with both of them, but especially Jackie's sort of position in the song of, baby, I'm a firework, I'm amazing, I deserve to be here, I think, and you could see it on Jackie's face. I thought Jackie was going to start proper crying. I was like, oh god. It was one of the best lip syncs of the season. Yes. I just can't. We had that little moment after the credits when Jeff Goldblum was just going, or was it after that? That's the World of Wonder bit. I can't remember, but Jeff Goldblum was just like on the stage. Everyone else was gone. Everyone else. I was just like, wow, wow. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Why was he left there alone? And then we have Untucked. Untucked was really sad. So, I don't want to dwell on too much, because it wasn't a very eventful Untucked. Widow talked about, you know, not being in the right headspace, basically, and how, as much as trying to listen to all these other girls saying, you're great, you're this, Widow was like, and what? I'm in the bottom, okay? I can't do anything else to help myself. And then that was basically what I remember from that. And then they had a moment later when Jada was just like, so, does anyone, you know, has there been any beef? Has anyone got, like, hidden feelings they want to unearth, air out? And basically Jackie was like, I wish I got to know Widow better. I thought she's a bit closed off. And then they were all really pressuring her, being like, talk to Widow, talk to her. I was like, is there a producer, like, got an earpiece in your ear, guys? Like, they were really hounding her, like, talk to her. And then I guess the point was, obviously, one of you could be going home today, so this might be the last time you have a chance to say it for a while. And then Jackie does, and it's just very sweet, and she's very much like, I wish I got more time to know you, because you're amazing, blah, 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 blah. And Widow's like, oh my god, you're amazing too. So it wasn't really any drama. I think they were just very dramaless, this Untucked episode, so they, like, needed something. Yeah. So, as this will be coming out after, like, episode 11, on the day of episode 11, it'll be coming out after the episodes, but I thought I'll keep my prediction in anyway. I predict that either Jada or Gigi will win the makeover challenge. Signing off. Goodbye. Enjoyed the episode. Hope you had a nice time. Bye-bye. This is already an hour and 5 minutes. I'm just going by quick.